Okay, welcome back. Questions 9 and 10 both are meanings of words and phrases kinds of questions. So we're going to review both of those together, and then I'll have you stop and reflect and answer a question for me. So let's take a question at number 9. It says, what does the phrase gaped in awe reveal about Bingham as it is used in paragraph 3? So I went back to paragraph 3 and I highlighted gaped in awe. And so let me reread the sentence. It wants to know that we know what that means. So it says, Bingham, his 9-year-old native guide, and his military escort swarmed over the ruins. The explorer gaped in awe at a huge altar carved from the mountainside itself. And then it goes on, it says, he marveled. It goes on, it says, he snapped photos. So I'll highlight that. He scribbled notes. He sketched maps. These are all clues that when he's gaping in awe, they want to know if I know what that means. So I need to choose the one that goes with the fact that he's marveled and he's snapping pictures and he scribbled notes and he's sketching maps. It sounds to me kind of like he's excited. He's kind of floored by what he's seeing because there's this huge man-made altar that's been carved out of a mountainside. That's pretty impressive. So A says it suggests he was astonished by what he saw. A sounds good, but I'm never going to pick an option without looking at the others also. It illustrates his fear of the unusual artifacts. When you marvel, he's scribbling notes. There's no indication here that he has any fear, so I'm going to cross off B. B is not correct. Let's mask that out. It implies that he was confused by the building methods. Doesn't sound like he's questioning the methods. He's taking pictures and he's scribbling notes. I don't think he really cares about the method. He's just really impressed that this huge altar is in the mountainside. And so C is not correct. Let's mask that one out. Lastly, it emphasizes his exhaustion after his extensive search for the missing site. Again, he's marveling, he's taking pictures, he's scribbling notes, he's sketching maps. Nowhere does it talk about the fact that he's exhausted. I think he is on an adrenaline high as he sees, again, this huge altar that's carved from the mountainside itself. So D is incorrect. We thought A looked good, his astonishment by what he saw. We've checked the other options, and indeed, A is the answer we should have picked. Let's do 10, like I said, and then I'll have you stop. 10 gives us another phrase, and they want to know if we know what it means. And so it's going to ask us to go to paragraph 6, so I've already highlighted. The question says, carefully digging around its ruins yielded scores of Inca graves, some stone dishes, and several bronze implements. What does the phrase yielded scores mean as it's used in the sentence? So again, like always, let's go back and reread the paragraph, or at least parts of it, and then we can figure out what this phrase means. It says, the following summer, Bingham returned to Machu Picchu. Careful digging around its ruins yielded scores of Inca graves, some stone dishes, and several bronze implements. So yielded scores of, and then he lists things like graves, stone dishes, and several bronze implements. So yielding, he's carefully digging, and so he's digging around the ruins, and he's yielded scores of, and then he lists graves and stone dishes and bronze implements. It sounds like he found these things. So yielded scores means finding these things. So let's take a look and see which one of these closely comes to what our meaning is here. Yielded scores shaped easily. That doesn't fit here at all. He's finding these things. He's not shaping anything. So again, let's use our masking and cross this out. He waited nearby. Again, he's digging, he's finding things. It doesn't have anything to do with waiting. Now, keep in mind that sometimes when you yield, like if a car yields to another car, it waits. While that is a definition of yield, it's not how it's being used here in this particular paragraph. So B is not correct. Explored often. It just says that he went back the following summer and he's digging and he finds these things. Doesn't have anything to do with explored often, so C is not correct. Let's look at D. It's probably our answer because we've crossed off the other 3, but let's just double check and prove to ourselves. It said produced many. Yielded scores. We already talked about the fact that it means he found many things like graves and stone dishes and several bronze implements. They must be using yielded scores, kind of like a synonym of like producing many or finding many. So again, D is the correct answer here. We've went through, we double checked even though it was our last one, and we know we're right. So at this point, please go back and look at your questions 9 and 10. And then I have a question for you if you'll answer that. Once you've answered that question in Google Forms, please come back and we'll look at question 11. Thanks.